that I'm live, but welcome to MG Live. It's been a little bit of a wild ride to get on here. So let me just make sure that I'm coming in clear. That I'm live, but welcome to MG Live. And I am, and thank you. So I'm going to just share this. Done. Thank you so much for tuning in with me. To all of my live people, drop something in the chat. Let me know you're in the building. Let me know you're tuning in live with me. And for all my replay people, hello. You know how we do. I love you guys so much for tuning in. Just give me maybe a few more seconds for some live people to join. But in the meantime, don't have to hang out in this dead air. What I want you to do for me, if you would not mind, is to just hit that share button real quick. It's going to take 2 seconds. And if you wouldn't mind sharing this to your platform so we can get as many eyeballs on this as possible so that we can get this message out to as many people as possible, I would so appreciate that for allowing me to leverage your audience. And I have some great topics coming up for you guys in 2025. Shout out to this being the first MG Live of 2025. I am very excited. I'm thinking about what I want to talk about this year. And so I need you. I need you. I need your voice. I need your perspectives. I need your opinions, your comments, your feedback. I need all of it. Okay. Because MG Live does not exist without you. I hope that I'm bringing relevant and impactful topics that help you in your professional life and also your personal life. We talk about everything over here. Okay. We talk about leveling up at work, on your job. We talk about your personal goals. We talk about personal brand. I have some really exciting things that I want to talk about personal brand. I talk about that several times here on my platform. But it's a really important topic that I want to continue weaving through. But I need you guys to tell me what you care about. What is top of mind for you? What are the things that you're thinking about this year? What are things that you might be seeing trending? What are things that are concerns in your community? What are things you're dealing with in your professional life? What kind of goals are you setting for yourself this year? Let me know. I want to know all of this stuff so that I can cater and tailor my topics around you and what you might need. Okay, so we're going to dive right in just a couple of more minutes, not even minutes, a couple of seconds, I promise. I just want to give a little bit of time for some live viewers to join. And I want to make sure that I am streaming on my website because I've advertised that I'm putting this everywhere. But if you're tuning in a little bit late, I am testing on a new platform. So apologies for a little bit of technical difficulties and my tardiness with coming on a few minutes late. But listen, we're not going to be on late and for a long time tonight. I just have a couple of points that I want to hit, talking about the hottest topics of 2024. Also, my internet is not letting me be great. So let me just dive in so that way I'm not wasting time or going to get cut off. So thank you so much for tuning in for MG Live. I've wasted enough time in stalls. If you're not familiar with me, my name is Maya Gatewood. I am a marketing manager at my 9 to 5. I am also a freelance graphic designer, but I'm sort of moving more into the consulting space. And so I enjoy and I'm passionate about consulting, about marketing and design and leveling up your business and small businesses, big businesses, whatever you have, side hustles, the whole thing. Come talk to me. You can find all of the things Maya Gatewood, including my blog and all of my design services on my website, mayagatewood.com. And you can find me on all of my social media platforms, which I hope you are following me on YouTube, Instagram, and of course you're following me on Facebook, right? Because you're here on Facebook, if that's where you're tuning in from. So yeah, and I also have an apparel line called MDGTs, and that stands for Empress Design and Graphics T-shirts, which is the name of my graphic design business. And I'm wearing my merch tonight. Let me see if I can point this down. Dope Black Woman, period. This is the tropical tee, the tropical design in a sweatshirt form. So don't worry, it doesn't have to be summertime for you to feel tropical. If you're interested in grabbing your Dope Black Woman and Dope Black Man, I have a lot of t-shirt designs to suit everyone from all walks of life. please do go to mygateway.com/shop and you can go ahead and you can get all of your merch. So listen, 2024 was a really interesting year for some. And it was funny because when I went back to go grab some of these highlights from my hottest topics of 2024, I was actually surprised to find out that I must have been on a little bit of a hiatus because I only had 6 lives. And that was surprising to me. I didn't realize that I kind of took a little bit of a hiatus. So I plan to definitely be intentional in 2025. That is one of my years. You are going to get 12 lives from me this year, everybody. I promise you. So yeah, so when I went back and I realized that I actually didn't have those as many lives as I thought I did. Yeah, that was kind of a okay, girl moment. But anyway, I wanted to just jump into some of these topics. If you saw one of my posts that I posted on Instagram, I think it was yesterday, you will have seen some of the comments that I selected from the conversations that I kind of want to talk about. So I'm just going to flip over to that post. Because these conversations really got deep. They were so lit. And if you did not have a chance to go back, that is the purpose of this live. I want you to go back and I want you to listen to them. I try my best to budget 30 minutes. I never really stick to 30 minutes. I think I had one live that was 30 minutes, but they just end up being so good. And that's why they are a little bit long. But I promise you there's a wealth of information in there. And I have some very special guests who joined me as well. And one of the important conversations that I had was called Sandcastles. And I had the amazing Michelle Andrews White as my guest. And that conversation sort of materialized because she and I were talking about just growing up and how we were raised. And we were having an open, honest, transparent conversation about our parents and our relationship with our parents. And, it's funny because I feel like, so everyone has different, different ways that they were raised and things like that. And sometimes it's funny to see the different paths split when you become an adult. It's like you either sort of turn out like your parents or you're like, oh, heck no, I am doing everything the complete opposite of the way that my parents did with me. And it was just interesting. So she has children. I don't have any children. So it was just interesting to sort of compare notes and see where each one of us were in life. We're relatively the same age, and we had to kind of be honest and be like, we're a little bit jacked up in some areas. And some areas really forged us and really forced us to be excellent in other areas. So there's areas for improvement, and there's other areas that, we're really, really proud of the women that we turned out to be. And sort of the tagline here says foundation informs structure. So that was the tagline of Sandcastles. And really that foundation of who you are as a child and how you were raised informs how you structure your life as an adult. And the way that Sandcastles kind of came about is, if you're at the beach and you're building a sandcastle, what is the most important thing is the foundation of the structure. Because if you start building and sand just by nature is a very sifty material. It is not, a firm material. You have to add things to it, right? So you're adding water to it to make it more sturdy as you're building it. It needs a mold. So it needs to be put into something in order to formulate its shape. And so we got a little bit deep on that one. We got a little bit, concept wise, but the concept is that you have to be formed, right? You have to be shaped. Things have to be added and poured into you as a child. And those become the building blocks of how you structure your life, or metaphorically your sandcastle. And it will depend on, is your sandcastle going to crumble or is your sandcastle going to stand? Based on what that foundation was. And so that live was talking all about relationship with parents and realizing that, as children, and especially adult children, we kind of hold our parents to a certain standard. Like, you should have this figured out, right? Like, you should know what's going on now at this point. But, we both had to realize that our parents are human beings too. And parents become parents at all stages for all reasons. And some people are ready and some people aren't ready. And so what does that look like for, for each individual, because it's going to be individual. But I'm telling you, that conversation, you guys, was so incredibly lit. It was really, really tough. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you. It was tough to talk about. It was tough to open up about. And it was tough too because, we were being transparent and we didn't want to be revealing in a reckless way. Let me just say it that way, right? We still wanted to be responsible because we still have these active relationships with our parents. But at the same time, we wanted to sort of have these conversations because it's a difficult conversation to have. But listen, everybody is dealing with something to do with how you were raised because you are now an adult. And guess what? Whether you want to believe it or not, the whole nature versus nurture, if you're into that whole concept, great. But the point is that the things that happen to you as a child affect who, how, who, what, when, where, why, all of those things as an adult. And so please, I promise you, you will not regret it. Go back and listen to that conversation. It's called Sandcastles, and it was absolutely amazing. On my Facebook page, I have an MG Live playlist, so that's where you can find all my MG Live videos. If you're watching this on my website, on mayagateway.com/MG Live, my whole library of videos is there, so you can hopefully easily go back and watch that. I don't know if I'm on my website right now because I want a new platform, and of course I chose the day that I'm going live to whatever, we're going to move on because I don't want this to be super long. Listen, when relationships transition, oh my God, this conversation I had with my friend, my sister, the amazing Munira Marshall. What can I say about her? First of all, just the strength of her, the dedication of her, the endurance of her. She is someone who perseveres, let me tell you. She's always on the go. No grass grows under her feet. She is someone who likes to stay active. She's someone who contributes to her community. And she's someone who is incredibly giving of her heart to those who are around her. And I was so honored and privileged to have her on because this girl always dropping some insights and some gems. And you have to go back and listen to this conversation. When relationships transition, we were both sort of realizing that we're in the same season of reevaluating relationships, friendships in our lives. And what does that look like? Because people talk about when they come into your life, right? Oh, I made a new friend. Oh, I met this new person. Oh, I have this new connect. But we don't talk enough about when that person transitions out of your life. And sometimes it's a smooth transition. And baby, sometimes that thing is bumpy. So, what does that look like? What does that entail? Sometimes it can be really mature. It can be a mature transition if you've both sort of come to the same conclusion and you're able to have a mature and honest conversation and sort of move on. More often than not, though, I find that this space of transitioning turns into a really negative thing and turns into a negative space. And it can be really toxic and can be very hurtful. And really, what are some of those strategies that we can do to combat that when it comes against us? Because life be lifing, people. Life be lifing. And, we all deal with so much stress and anxiety and triggers. And you've really got to know your triggers and you've got to learn how to effectively communicate to other people. And this conversation was also really open and transparent. We both shared some things from our heart, but the conversation in the chat, you have to go back just to watch. You have to go back and watch just to read the comments, because I'm telling you, people really came in with some amazing insights. And I'll get to this in a minute, but one of the comments that was shared from Derek Smith was so amazing. that I had to have him on as my next guest for my next MG Live hottest topic, which I'm going to get to in a second. But he was basically saying that, people don't talk enough about what I just said. How do we transition out of each other's lives? And that it's okay. It's okay to do that, that people come into your life for seasons. No one is necessarily going to be there from start to finish. And that's okay. And we need to learn how to talk about it, but we also need to learn how to identify what those feelings and emotions are during that transition period. Are you hurt? Are you angry? Are you upset? Do you not care? Are you over it? And being able to tell that person. And in some cases, you're not going to be able to tell that person. When we transition out of often I sort of equate this with romantic relationships, but you're not going to get that closure from that person that you may want, especially if there was an argument, or especially if you guys have beef and you're not on speaking terms. Then what happens is you've got to reconcile all of that history and all of that emotion yourself. And that's not fair. It's not fun. But it's sometimes necessary, because unfortunately you don't get that other person who's going to come to the table and have a smooth resolution. But I'm telling you guys, when relationships transition, go back and listen to that live. It was really, really good. And we shared some really great insights there. So I'm going to go into my next live, which from that comment that Derek had left, we did battling burnout. And we sort of kicked around a couple of topics, because Derek Smith is someone who I I find tremendous insights from. He's really, really intelligent, knowledgeable, and insightful person. So he's the person who's going to give you that perspective of something that you've looked at 100 times before. And he's going to come in and he's going to say that one thing, and you're going to be like, oh my God, I did not see that. How did I not see? I've been looking at this situation this way for years. How did I never see that? He's the person who's going to do that. And so that is why Derek is so valuable. And so we finally all, and I also had Munira back for that conversation. But we talked about battling burnout. And really, it was a conversation centered around self-care, because you don't want to burn yourself out and then you end up being no good for anyone else. Excuse me while I take a sip of water. What kind of beverage? Y'all got beverages? I hope you have a nice beverage. So we definitely need to take care of ourselves so that we are good for the people around us, for our families, for our coworkers, but also for yourself. If you are following me on social media, go to my Instagram. You will see a soundbite that I posted of Derek's, and he's talking about, projecting and being able to being real quick to tell other people where they went wrong and where they failed us. But we don't give enough credence to and attention to where we failed ourselves. When he said that, I was like, I don't need anybody else to come in here and blow up my life and destroy what's going on. I do enough of my own self-sabotage. So it's really, really, it was a great conversation. I'm trying to just find that post. Yeah, it's right here. It is October 21st. If you go to my Instagram, look at the October, Maya R. Gatewood. Look at the October 21st post and you'll see that soundbite from Derek, because it's really impactful. And just trust me, that whatever it is, 30 seconds was littered throughout that live with all those type of insights. Munira was absolutely amazing, talking about how she as a mother and as a wife and as a busy mother and wife, because she is very active in school and extracurricular activities. She does cheerleading. She does a myriad of things, right? I don't even know how this woman has all this time, but she does a lot of things. And how does she battle burnout? So I found it interesting to get, her perspective and Derek's perspective together. It was just an amazing combination of the two of them. And I trust and believe they will be back in 2025. If you two are watching this, just just wait for a call from me because I'm going to be reaching out to you. But definitely battling burnout, conversation that you do not want to miss. Um, and then I think I just have one more that I wanted to highlight. This one was one that I talked about myself, and that was gaslighting. This conversation was so necessary and was so needed because I feel like gaslighting is something that almost everybody deals with. And if you don't think that you've dealt with it, go back and listen to this live. It's all the more reason for you to go back and listen to it because I guarantee that you have dealt with it and maybe you just didn't realize what it was and you didn't realize the signs. But gaslighting basically causing someone to question their perception of reality of what is happening in the moment or even of past events. And you're basically inflaming someone's reality, someone's perception of self, their perception of others, and their perception of you. And usually, 9 times out of 10, the gaslighter is doing this intentionally and they're doing it in a manipulative way. And I give some steps for how you combat that, but also how do you identify it, first of all? I let you know what gaslighting is. We go through the definition of it, being able to look for those signs and identify those signs. And then what can you do to stop gaslighting? And one thing that I said to stop it is immediately when it happens, you have to stop it dead in its tracks. You can't let it linger because what happens with gaslighting is it's really a pattern of behavior. And so once one occurrence happens, right, you now set the precedent for how that interaction is going to continue into the future. So if you have a positive interaction with someone, you're now setting up more positive interactions with that person. If you have a negative experience or interaction and you allow certain behaviors to continue, you are now enabling that person and that behavior to continue and allowing it to repeat itself. And that's really what the gaslighter does. They're really only doing what you're allowing them to do. And so you have to stop that in its tracks right away. And you have to call it out for what it is. You have to say, you're gaslighting me. You have to say those words. And I know that it might sound like cliche. It might sound like, oh, okay, this is not like Tony Robbins. I'm not at a self-help conference. Like, but I'm telling you, identifying words matter. I have said this before in my MG lives. Words matter. And by you verbalizing audibly certain words, it now gets into that person's mind and into that person's vocabulary so they understand exactly what they're doing and why you're having the reaction that you're having. I'm not just coming out of this reaction out of thin air. I'm not just overreacting, which is a sign of gaslighting. Being gaslit is being told that you're overreacting. No, I'm reacting this way because you're gaslighting me. And this is what I need you to stop doing. Okay, so definitely go back and listen to that live. It was really, really impactful. And it was really kind of therapeutic for me because I'm going to be honest, gaslighting isn't something that I thought about or really knew about until several years ago and began to identify past relationships where I was gaslit to the skies, honey. I'm surprised I didn't just like float up to God as much as I was gaslit in a certain one relationship in particular. I was like, oh my God, I can't believe I didn't like shoot up to the skies as much as I was gaslit underneath my feet. Like it was really, really triggering and toxic relationship that I was in. And I wasn't able to articulate what those triggers were and what that person was doing to me. And I just found this conversation so therapeutic just for myself, but then I know that this was very helpful for other people as well. So definitely go back and listen to that live. And let me know what your thoughts are for all of these lives. When you go back and listen, let me know that you're watching the replay. You're going to write in #replay so I know exactly when you're watching it. I'm going to get a notification and I want to read your comment. I want to read your thoughts. The reason that I was able to put this post together yesterday was because you all were sounding off in the comments, you were being engaged in the chat, you were sharing your thoughts with other people, which just helps other people. You're sharing your stories, and it's hard stuff we're talking about. So I applaud you and I thank you and I appreciate you. I'm so grateful for you. That's really all I have for you. Look at me. I budgeted 30 minutes and I'm going to stay on my 30 minutes because that's all I really wanted to do was just give you some highlights from some of my hottest topics from 2024 and encourage you. This is your CTA, your call to action. Go back, check out one of those lives, and in the comments, let me know that you're watching the replay and share your thoughts about it and about you and maybe a personal experience that you had in connection to it. All right. So yeah, and I'm gonna reach out with some posts, with some polls. So I would really, really love if you all could just interact with those polls because I want to know what's important to you. I want to know what topics you want to hear about. I want to know how I can lend my expertise and my experience to you. This platform is really in service of helping other people and trying to level us all up because as I'm helping you, I'm helping myself. And as I'm helping myself, I hope that I'm helping you. So this is all a reciprocal thing. This is a reciprocal thing. Okay. So I want you guys to do that for me. Would you please just let me know what topics that you're interested in hearing from me in 2025 and beyond? And listen, we're gonna have an all new MG Live topic coming in February. My birthday is also in February, y'all. Um, February 9th. So give me some birthday shout outs. I will take that. Thank you very much. But I have an amazing conversation coming next month in February. We're going to be talking about greatness. Okay. And I'm not going to tease too much about that, but just make sure that you keep it locked right here because I'm going to have a very special guest who might surprise you, who you didn't think would have some insights to share, but he definitely does. And that's a hint for you. It is a he. So make sure that you join me back here and keep it locked on all my social media so that you know exactly the date and all that stuff. And thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope that I was able to share something last year that was helpful and impactful for you. And my goal for this year is to continue to do the same old thing. All right. And to just help you guys out. All right. So definitely give this a share if you're watching the replay. If you've hung in this long, I so appreciate you. I love you guys for allowing me to be on your platforms as well when you share this out to other people. So thank you so much. I'm going to get up out of here because I'm rambling now. Okay. And I will see you guys on the next video. Bye.